We ought to celebrate the fact that this is the home of the oldest continuing culture of anywhere in the world, and language is a big part of that. And reviving it and making sure that it survives and recapturing that and sharing it with our little ones. Hi, I'm Brooke Boney. I'm a Gamilaroi woman. I'm a journalist, now a published author. I'm an auntie, a niece, a daughter, a granddaughter. Now more than ever, I think it's important for us to, to be proud of who we are and to be proud that we are here. And I think that language is a part of that resilience, that it does sort of prove that unbroken link, that connection through tens of thousands of years. Is this a snake? Look
at the snake.
Look at the snake.
Where is it?
And
There's
it
this tail.
all the way around.
Comes all the way down.
Can you see where his head is? Where is his head? So I grew up in Muswellbrook in the New South Wales Hunter Valley, and with my mum and my brothers and sisters and my nan and pop and all my cousins. From me not even finishing high school to then being able to go and study and to be able to help my family in the ways that I can, and to talk about these sorts of things and to sort of bring that full circle. It feels a bit surreal. Like I don't want to be too, I feel like it's a bit gammon, almost to sort of bring that all back around. But that's how it feels. It's like you can see where it started and how I kind of got to where I am now and how I came back. And so we're going to go out to Ashford and have a look around. Do you feel like, that it's probably changed in similar ways, or what do you think?
I think the last time I went up was for a funeral, and that was last year, November. And it is changed too, because our house is no longer there. Like in Cook Street, there were 3 houses in Cook Street. The whole 3 houses are gone, and then they built just like one house there, and like they were all Aboriginal houses. So it's changed.
Ah, Yama. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. How's your trip?
It was pretty good. So I drove up from Muswellbrook.
Nice. You would have gone on past Gamilaroi Road.
Yes.
Yep. Gamilaroi is actually a word for lime gypsum. You would have gone past Neminga.
Yep.
That is actually a word for the Kurrajong tree, Nemin. You would have just passed Gilgai.
Yes.
And that's a word for waterhole. When they talk about language living in country, they're perfect examples. They're still living there in the place names. But I was thinking, while we're here, we can get a bit of an intro into Gomeroi language. This is all gully. That's what we call water. You say gully?
Gully.
In the gully, there'd be lots of guya.
Guya. And that is?
That's fish. Yeah, not eel, fish.
I'm glad that it's fish and not eel, I can tell you that.
And we've got all of these beautiful dulu around us.
Dulu, so trees.
Trees, yeah.
So gully for water.
Yep.
Guya.
Yep.
For fish.
Perfect.
And
dulu.
Dulu for tree.
Yeah.
Dulu.
Great, good start.
I think I'm a natural.
I think so.
We're here at Deadburn Mission now, where my grandfather grew up. To think about how far that journey has come, like not only for me to sort of come back in a physical sense, but the fact that all of that started here feels like a time capsule. And I feel really emotional being here, and you feel that being here, like it's a beautiful place, like you can hear the water in the background, the sort of babbling away and the birds in the trees. It's a little slice of heaven. So, Annie Elaine, how long has it been since you've been back out here to Deadbird?
Oh, probably be about a couple of years now. I just come down in now and again to visit but I haven't been here for a while now, and that's since we all left from here.
Yeah. And how long ago was that? That's like decades.
Oh yeah, then decades. I think I was only young when I left from here. They all had pretty reasonable houses to live in, and just dirt houses, dirt floors, and a lot of them. My father ended up building his own home here. We had boards, and we had the toilets with the well.
So it's a pretty good setup there.
Yeah, it was. It was a really good setup out here. Yeah.
And so this was one of the few missions where there was no mission master.
No, it just a recorded mission. We just I never ever known it to be called Deadbird.
Yeah, this is just where you live.
Just where we just lived.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah.
Pop talks about how you'd see the cars coming from in town, and everyone would just run and hide.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, some of them I didn't do, and they just always thought the welfare was going to come and take some of the kids. Well,
How does it feel to be here?
yes, feel good, yeah. Because we used to always all go down into the river and swim there in the afternoon. And then but when we come home from school, we all had to get our buckets, and we all had to carry our water from the river up here.
Yeah.
That was our water for drinking and cooking and bathing in and everything.
Wow. All right, well, we're going to go down and have a look at the river, see if it's like you remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be swimming today. It's funny to hear her talk about her work ethic. I mean, she's 78 and she has 3 jobs. Pop's only just finished working in the last few years. And to hear her talk about how, one of the reasons that they probably came here to this area and to Deadbird Mission was to be able to work in the tobacco fields or to work up the road at the station, and that they didn't have access to rations or anything like that. It kind of just puts everything into context, really, that their work ethic stems from that. And even her overwhelmingly positive attitude, it makes me feel like, oh, that's where that comes from. Like she's super pragmatic, she's just like, okay, well, we just have to get the job done. When she was even talking about carrying buckets of water from the river, there wasn't any part of it that was like, oh, we had to carry buckets up from the river. It was like, oh, and we used to grab a stick, she would talks about the shortcuts, or talks about it in a way that's kind of positive almost, that there's some sort of worthiness in that work. It makes me make sense, I think. I feel quite emotional actually, because so many of the stories that I've heard about their childhood happened here. All of their policies of governments past, all of these things, they were here when all of that was happening. And then to come back and sort of, walk around with Auntie Elaine and see that the rest of the world has changed so much, but this place is the same. People talk about having been somewhere for decades or centuries. That pales in comparison to the fact that, not far from here over in Kingstown, that's where my great-grandfather Charles would have been born, on the banks of the river. That's, this country, this whole area, this is where my people have always been. But, if there's sort of echoes or whispers on the wind or whatever, that's what the language is that they're speaking. And I think language ensures that we will always be here. We will always have that connection.